What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We are here with another video. Well, this is actually going to be a short series. I have two videos planned, possible third one, but I don't have a topic for that one yet. But in the honor of Women's History Month, I will be doing my own celebration in the way that I know best. And I'm starting this off with my personal top 5 female video game characters. So before I start this list, of course, I have a few requirements of how I'm ranking this. So of course, if you probably see characters that you feel should be here that's not here, it's because they probably didn't fit the requirements. And the requirements are they have to be a playable character in the game, so not just a cutscene character or someone who just in your ear all the time. I had to have play with them, of course, so obviously there's plenty of games that can have variety of female characters, but if I don't play with them, then there's no point in me putting them in the list. And I'm only picking one character per franchise, so same thing like a fighting game, for example, there can be like 6 female characters, but I will only pick one from that franchise. So that's gonna be it. But before I even get into the list, I just want to give some shine to some of my honorable mentions. It's not much, and honestly, I could have made this a top 10 with how much honorable mentions are on this list, but the only reason why is because I just didn't really have enough time to play with them, or they just wasn't in enough games that made me like connect with them long enough. So that's mainly it. But here we go. Start with my honorable mentions first. So we starting off with Monica Wise, or aka IQ, from the franchise, well, not even the franchise, the game Rainbow Six Siege. And in the game she starts off as a member of the GSG-9, and currently in the lore apparently she switched teams and joined Nighthaven. I'm not 100% familiar with the lore because I haven't played that game in some time. But her specialty is her electronic detector, which allows her to, basically what the name implies, she can detect electronics on her, like a tablet on her wrist. But she can detect drones, bombs, cameras, any kind of electronic battery powered grenade or anything. So she's great for being able to get into a room unharmed by any kind of traps that's obviously powered. There are traps that's not powered by the electronic devices, but so she can identify these traps before you even enter the room, which I feel that goes perfect with my playstyle in that game, as the game is a tactical extraction game, or you gotta plant the bomb or defuse the bomb depending on what game mode you usually play. Mainly competitive is bomb, but also being a 3-speed, she's able to quickly maneuver herself out of tight positions or enter a position quickly. So if you are securing a hostage and need someone to quickly get in the room and extract the hostage to get out, you would best use a speed character. So it fits well for being able to quickly get in and out of situations, as well as being able to plan and tactically advance into rooms safely without being caught off guard by any traps. Of course, if somebody is peeking the corner, that's a whole nother that's something different. But yeah, that's mainly it. She was kind of my first main in Rainbow Six Siege as well. When the game first kind of came out, for a good period of time, her loadout was actually one of the only unique loadouts. Not everybody really had her guns. But of course, as years passed and all the new operators came, her guns are shared with other operators. But at the time, I believe her class was actually unique to herself, which was something I enjoyed as well, being able to play with these specific, which is the guns. I actually enjoyed just about all the guns as well. So having a good loadout and a unique loadout that nobody else can mimic is also great. So that's why I go with IQ as my number 5. Moving on to number 4, we have Senua from Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Of course, the sequel's coming out, but it's not out yet. But she is a warrior with a troubled past of loss, abuse, and isolation. Having an ability that was looked at as a curse from her father, she would eventually have a mental breakdown from the loss of her mother and later on her lover. She would take her lover's head after finding his body was sacrificed, and came with the conclusion that she should journey to Helheim to bargain for his soul. And that's pretty much where the game kind of picks up when you start the game. Thing about Senua, as far as my personal knowledge goes, she is one of the few women, and probably maybe the only lead women, to have like a serious mental health issue, and they actually managed to work that in the game as a game mechanic, where she would have voices that would whisper to her, and kind of like the voices will act as a defense mechanism to let her know that danger is approaching her, or if she's to go into this room, it might be dangerous. But it's also like a doubt thing too. Like it could be like, oh, because she doesn't know what it is, it's automatically telling her to stay away, but she needs to progress that way to get where she needs to go. So it's kind of difficult on how you should trust the voices in your head. But in gameplay as well, there'll be times where an enemy will try to attack you from behind, and the voice will whisper behind you so you can dodge the attack, which is a interesting and unique way to handle characters with certain disabilities like that. So that's dope in a way, because like I said, from the outside looking in, if you just look at her, like she looks like she's just unstable and helpless, of course, from her upbringing, just being isolated as a child. She managed to hone her skills as a warrior and went on this adventure to probably do the impossible. And throughout the game, she encounters all kind of dangerous enemies and hurdles, and she's able to overcome the obstacles and deal with her past trauma and her suppressed memories. And yeah, that's something I can admire in her character. Next up, we have Lara Croft. I'm only speaking for the reboot trilogy, as I didn't really play the older Tomb Raider games growing up. Didn't really interest me, but I decided to give this trilogy a chance, mainly because the first game was they released it for free at one point and I actually enjoyed it, so I got the other two. But yeah, I like this version of Lara because it's an origin story. As far as I'm concerned, the previous games, she's already established as like a big shot Tomb Raider. So you don't really have that progression of story with her, but you can. I know there's a lot of people who do relate and connect to the character of her. Just she starts off as a badass character, but I like the progression of seeing how she starts off, as you get to see her progression of how she gets her motivations to be such a survivalist and explorer, then as well as learning about her flaws, about how she's kind of selfish in the early games, about she just goes into these people, well, not these people, like to different countries and the locals, and just take stuff that's probably important to them, but she don't care about that and all the danger that she puts everyone around her in because of her interest in collecting these artifacts. But by the time the third game, she does learn that she needs to be more responsible for her actions, so she becomes more better at being not only just an explorer, but being more respectful to other people's culture and their history, as well as just being like the badass part is there too, like being able to how she stealth, her abilities to be stealthy and to craft her weapons or any kind of makeshift tools or whatever to fight against enemies like on the fly is kind of impressive as well. Like, it's not something that's really looked on for most female lead characters or female characters, period. Like, for her to be so independent and so resourceful on her own. Like, there are male characters in the game, but they aren't really there. Like, usually when they put female characters in the game, they always put them as like a, what you call it, like you have to protect them or have them follow you around and guide them somewhere. Like, usually, like, that's how they are represented. But her is like straight up, I'll just do this mission by myself, you go ahead and do something, like I'll hold it down. Like, she don't really need help like that, so that's dope as well. But yeah, next we got AJ Shea, or Lifeline, from Apex, and she was originally my main in Apex, but recently I actually have quit playing Apex, so I'm not 100% up, because I know they recently did do an update that kind of changed how some of these characters work. So my information is gonna be from beforehand. Despite quitting the game, this does not mean I dislike the characters in the lore as well. This is actually one of the reasons why I love the Apex game, because I love the characters and I love the story that they were telling. It's just I got bored of the battle royale template. But we learned that Lifeline actually comes from like a wealthy family, and we learned that they aren't really liked by the public because they are war profiteers who would they would have gained from conflicts, and this will eventually lead her to basically distancing herself from her family, and she will eventually later on join the Apex games as a combat medic. She has a healing drone, which allows her to heal her teammates or even revive down teammates. And since the drone will be doing the work, she can provide cover fire while their teammate is being looked after. But she also has her main abilities to call in a supply drop that allows you to get any kind of supplies or items from the drop for you and your team. And yeah, that's mainly, I just like her character design as well. Just her carefree attitude, but knowing when it's time to get serious. But yeah, that's that. Now for my number one, this can be tricky because technically you can make your character either female or male, which I know is the same as Mass Effect. You can have a male or female shepherd, but I mean, I've beaten this game like 5 times and I'm currently on my 6th playthrough, and I've enjoyed playing with the female V more than the male V, mostly because of the voice actor. I feel she does a better job at making you become more immersed in your character, because you can design your male character to look a certain way, but his voice just won't match up with how you look, and that can take you out the immersion, which kind of sucks because immersion is actually a big deal in this game and Night City. I feel like Night City is probably one of the best crafted worlds in video games. So to have your main character break the immersion for you because he just sounds weird can ruin it. So female V all the way. But also the other tricky thing about your character in this game is, aside from their story, their style of play is up to you. So you can make your character how you want to be. If you want to make her very gung-ho, you can, but I personally enjoy making her a very stealth hacker, so I'm able to like clear out a whole building of enemies before I even step into the building, and just walks right in and do what I gotta do, complete my mission, and walk right out without even having to like fire a gun. Most time I barely use a gun in when I play with like the stealth role. So yeah, but even like I said in the story, just the character of someone who has big dreams and ends up being down on their luck in life, able to pick themselves back up with the help of their friends and all the people you encounter throughout the game. Just being able to basically take your destiny in your own hand and forge your own future. So female V, that's my favorite because I've been loving Cyberpunk for like the past 2 years now. But yeah, that's my top 5 personal list of female video game characters. Like I said, I'm sure there's some that a lot of people be like, bro, how you did not put them? But like I said, either I did not even play with them or my time was limited with them. So I don't have a strong connection of how much I enjoyed the character, but that's that. So hope you guys enjoy. Put in the comments if you had your own personal 5 or just whatever list of how many female video game characters you like who probably wasn't on this list. Be interested to see. And yeah, until next time, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and peace.